Welcome to the Digital PR Show. You want the future of marketing and PR? You've come to the right place. We're spilling all the secrets on what it really takes to crush it in PR, digital marketing, and agency life. No jargon and no gatekeeping. Whether you're building a brand, scaling a biz, or just here for the hot takes, we've got you covered. Let's get digital.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Digital PR Show. Today, we're doing a very, very special episode because we're celebrating CIPR's Sweet 16. And because of that, we have our wonderful founder, CEO, and Capricorn, Christina Pilarski, talking to us today about how it started, how we all got here. Okay. So let's get started.
First question, what made you and Peter decide to start CIPR 16 years ago, and what did that look like?
Yeah, so 16 years ago, I was doing, like most of us, a little side hustle off the side of my corporate desk, and I needed a place for that side hustle to live. And really, the side hustle at the time was about things I was passionate about that I wasn't necessarily getting to do in my regular 9 to 5. And I still remember going to the AMA in Woodbine and saying, okay, I'm going to start this company and here's what it's called, and doing the search. And there I was, just Christina, 100% owner, and here's my side hustle and let's go. And I remember having a conversation with someone who helped with the logo that is still the logo today, because I was just this like girl with a dream. And then the company remained what it was, and I was getting to do some great side gigs and kind of build a portfolio that way. And then in 2015, I kind of looked around at where I was, and I was in a really great corporate job in a leadership position at a fairly young age and was enjoying what I was learning, but my leadership had changed. So, my true champion, she had moved on to another job, and I looked at the rest of the leadership team and they were kind of changing. There was some wholesale change going on, and I came home and I said to Peter, I don't know, I think there's going to be some change dictated to me. My job's going to look a lot different because of just the new direction that this business is headed. And he kind of said, well, would you ever consult? And I said, well, I kind of do consult on the side. And I spent 4 weeks, I kind of made myself my little plan. Okay, in 4 weeks, I'm going to figure out really what I'm doing and what I want to be when I grow up. And in that time, I was applying for jobs, other jobs, and going on interviews and seeing how that felt. I had given notice at my job, so I was, in this interesting limbo of passing things off to people and explaining my babies and giving them to someone new. And then also having really cool conversations with consultants that I really had grown to admire, respect, aspire to be. So I was getting all this great advice. I was still exploring, am I really going to go all in on this thing? As all the cards fell, it became, okay, CIPR, you're now a full-time shop, and now we're here.
What's something you would tell yourself now that younger you would have benefited from knowing in terms of starting this?
I would say, I think when I first started, there was a lot of imposter syndrome. I think that you come at something and all of a sudden you are the boss. There's no one like you. Right? When you're a one-woman show, you are the boss, you are setting your hours. And so it took me a long time to even call myself a CEO. I had, strategist on my business card for the longest time because I just didn't feel like I was a CEO. I think I would tell my younger self, though, that climbing the corporate ladder is not necessarily what you imagined it would be. I love a gold star. She's a Capricorn. She likes the pat on the head. And so when I left and started my own business, I don't necessarily get that, right? I don't have a boss that's going to say to me, great job. I mean, I have incredible clients that I get to work with that are doing those things, but it's a very different relationship. And so I had kind of pictured this trajectory for myself of moving up the corporate ladder and eventually getting into this big boss chair. And all of a sudden I had put myself in a big boss chair. And so it took me a while to come to terms with, I don't get a review. I don't need to ask permission, and that's okay. And so I would tell my younger self that. And I would also tell my younger self, you're not bad at spreadsheets. I feel like I had this real mental block about when you are a business owner, you need to know math. And I think that as a comms girl, I really blocked that for a long time, going, oh, I'm not good at that. I don't know books. I don't know numbers. And it turns out like I really am good at it. So, hey, young Christina, that stats class you took, actually, you did learn something even though you thought you didn't.
I always say that. I always say I went to school to be on TV, not do math. Okay. And what is a pivotal CIPR moment in the last 16 years that has stood out to you?
Oh my gosh. One is so hard to pinpoint. I will say probably the standout would be obviously starting a family in the middle of chaos. It's a story I often tell. There was no mat leave. That ship had sailed. There was no going to a boss and saying, "Hey, I'm in a new journey." It was, "Oh God, I started a company and now I'm pregnant," which led to a really cool partnership between Peter and I, because all of a sudden it became really clear that we were partners in all ways. That's when he officially joined the company. Right in that transition, we knew that for the company to succeed, it needed to have a little bit more of a public face while I was doing the mom thing for a bit. It's one thing to be able to sit and work, but it's another thing to be able to try to be scheduling meetings around feedings and naps and all of those things. So Peter really came on and was a force and a visionary. I am very much a to-do list person, and so I love a short-term goal, but long-term vision has never been something in my bailiwick. So the fact that Peter could bring that vision was huge. I'd say too, probably other pivotal moments have just been growth of the team. I still can't believe sometimes when we log into a morning huddle and how many faces I see and how many just incredibly talented, more talented than me, people who've come to the table and are part of the CIPR team now. That's been a really cool moment. And now we have a leadership team. There was a moment in time where it was like, okay, actually, no, I can't have everyone report to me. I need to figure out what that looks like, or awards that we've won, or clients that have won awards because of the work that we've been able to collaborate on. So lots of those moments. I'd say this past year, even just the AI transformation has obviously been huge in the company, and being recognized by Agility in terms of being the most AI ready agency has been really incredible, because there's been so much work that's gone into that. And I think it could so easily be, oh, too hard. Stick to what you know, and the fact that we've been able to adapt and built an agency that can adapt. Our model has allowed us to be flexible as the market has changed, and not only with AI, but going back in terms of website and how digital marketing has evolved, and Google Eat frameworks and those pieces, and how PR has been like on a roller coaster for the last 16 years. Really important, then not so important, now really important again. So again, I would say lots of great moments, but a bit of a roller coaster, but not a bad roller coaster.
And what I like about you is you always answer my next question before I have to ask it. So I was going to ask about the AI portion of it. So that covered that quite nicely. Okay, we only have a couple more. What's one thing you want future you to know? That could be even like words of encouragement, something that you often need to remind yourself, anything like that. Like what's something you want future you to know or be reminded of?
Oh, this is hard, but I would also just say, like, you've got this. You're fine. This is just the beginning. I remember even 5 years ago, you as a business owner sometimes sweat over payroll and cash flow and oh my God. And not only is this food on my table now, but it's food on the table of 20 other people. It's a big responsibility to bear. And I remember moments where it's like, oh, if we could only as a business make this much a month, then we would be fine. And it's like, we have so surpassed the number of past Christina. And so there are times where I'm sitting at the end of the month doing numbers going, if we could have only made that a month. And you're like, yeah, but we're like at 10 times more than what you thought 5 years ago you needed to make per month. And so to me, it's like, okay, future Christina, you've done this. You've been here before. Whatever you're dealing with is probably what current Christina would have loved to deal with. So enjoy what you're dealing with, and like remember this version of yourself who was maybe stressed about something that now you're not stressed about. I guess the busyness, the stress, the momentum never goes away. It just changes and forms and morphs, and you'll be fine. You've done it before.
And you're doing great. And you still will in the next many other years of this company. Okay, one piece of advice for someone who wants to start their own business.
I would say just do it. One of the best things that was said to me from a fellow consultant really flipped my thinking around job security. And I think we have this perception sometimes of job security as like, I have a job and this is a good company. And when you move out on your own, you go, oh my God, I'm by myself. But actually now you have the control, right? So I have job security because I created my own job security. And I think that is sometimes the biggest stressful point that people will face is, oh God, like where's the next paycheck coming from? Well, when you're an entrepreneur, you have your own business, you will find the next paycheck. You are highly motivated. You have your people, you have your team, your clients, yourself. When the stakes are your own, you work that much harder and you figure it out. Whereas sometimes when the stakes are not your own, you can kind of phone it in a bit. To me, there is this kind of really cool empowerment that comes with the fact that, hey, you run the show. The power is yours. I always talk about levers. Like there's always a lever you can pull when you're just in one chair and you're feeling not heard, or like me, if you're feeling like you have a new leader that doesn't necessarily understand your path or your growth, you only have one lever. That lever is leave or stay. Whereas when you own your own business, you got lots of levers. You have levers around growth. You have levers around staying the same. And we pulled the staying the same lever many times. And we've pulled the growth lever, or we've changed the service or changed the rhythm. So again, you've got all the levers to pull. Go pull your first one, which is do it.
That was such a Capricorn answer of like, I want to work and I like working and we're going to work.
And work.
And we're going to work. And we're going to work on working at work. Okay, last one is not a question, but more of CIPR is your baby. What would you tell CIPR for their Sweet 16 birthday?
That's good because this reverses it, because I often want the business to speak to me. And so like a big piece of how I try to be a good leader and a good owner is you got to take your personal feelings out of it sometimes. And so I will often ask, and Peter knows this well, I will say, well, what's the business telling us? What does the business say it needs? Does it need an investment? Does it need a different person? Does it need a different policy? And so what would I tell the business on its Sweet 16? I think I would just say thank you. I would say thank you for allowing me to be your mom, for allowing me to kind of have a really incredible journey and get to build something that is truly really cool to watch do different things. And there was this time in the business where I knew every small detail of what was going on, every social post that was going out for CIPR, every press release for a client, every media list, every SEO keyword. And now I don't. And I love when I log into Instagram and I see a really cool post from CIPR come up, or a really cool client post that I haven't seen yet. And it just makes me so excited to see what everyone else in the organization is doing. So I think I would tell the company thank you, and thanks for going on a wild ride and being different. I think that we've really succeeded in my vision of, I worked with a lot of agencies in my corporate career, and I wanted to be different. I wanted to solve the problems that I had seen. So, okay, I've invested in an agency. Where the heck are they? What are they doing? Do they know about me? Do they remember? Do I have to follow up? And so all the things I saw, I wanted to build something different. So way to go, CIPR. You were different and you killed it. Good job. Happy birthday.
Perfect. This was really good. This was really, really good. Happy birthday, CIPR.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get you a car for your Sweet 16 CIPR, so sorry about that. But thank you so much for being on the show today, Christina. Everybody, please don't forget to like, subscribe wherever you can, wherever you get your podcasts. We have some really exciting stuff coming up, a new series that we're going to be doing, a mini series called the PR Playbook. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you next time.
Well, there you have it. That's a wrap on this episode of the Digital PR Show, where the future is digital and so are we. Make sure you subscribe or catch us on socials at CIPR Comms or on the web at CIPRcommunications.com. Talk soon.